So it's something that I tell people all the time. If you have a dream, share it with the people around you, because I am proof that in that moment, there may be no pathway to that happening. But if you don't share it, then that opportunity doesn't have the chance to find its way to you.
This is the Solar Disruption Theory.
Welcome back to the Solar Disruption Theory podcast. My name is Chad Towner. I'm your host, and today we've got a very, very special guest, somebody who I have been on Zoom calls and team calls for the last couple years. She is a huge inspiration to me. She is the president of GivePower. Her name is Michele Magee. Michele, thank you so much for joining. How are you?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Chad.
Yeah, this is our first time ever meeting in person.
Unbelievable. I feel like you're my brother from another mother,
Yeah.
and here we are finally face to face.
I know. We've a lot of Zoom calls, and glad to finally be able to set this in stone. We've scheduled this a couple other times, and I've had to reschedule, so sorry, but so glad to have you here. I know you're so much more than GivePower, so I want to get into a little bit before GivePower. You, if I remember right, you told me when we first spoke that you grew up in Utah, Delta, or you spent time living in Delta, Utah.
Oh, yeah. My grandparents were in Delta. Great memory, Chad. I think that was 2 years ago we talked about that. So I grew up actually in Stockton, California.
Okay.
You know, at the time, it was the murder capital of the United States. We had more murders in Stockton than we did per capita in the entire country. And so when the summertime came, my parents took us out of there and we went to Delta to spend our summers on my grandfather's farm. And I got to tell you, I am so grateful to have had that balance between the two environments. Stockton was a great place to grow up. I got to learn about ethnic diversity and cultural differences and so on. And actually today, that's a big part of my comfort level in traveling to other countries and working with people from all walks of life. Likewise, in Delta, I learned how to ride motorcycles and swim in ditches and ride horses and just be a kid. It was a wonderful way to grow up.
There's a whole different type of diversity in Delta. It's diversity in livestock and animals.
Yep.
We used to go hunting out there, but coyote hunting and rabbit hunting, that's a
the
great
rabbits.
place.
You can't even drive down the street without a rabbit darting in front of you.
Well, okay, so fast forward. I mean, you've pretty much held so many titles with Good Leap, which I want to get into, but even before that, you said you spent some time in the radio business. I know you definitely have a background in marketing. So tell us a little bit about how you kind of got to the place where you eventually ended into the solar industry.
Yeah. It was a wild ride. If you had asked me as a 22-year-old graduating from college how my career would have evolved, I never could have guessed I would have the opportunities that I've had. So after graduation, I started as a mall marketing director of all things. And I had a 1 million square foot shopping center in Sacramento that I marketed. And I got to know 100 different businesses. And what a great way to enter marketing.
Yeah.
I learned direct mail and radio and TV and a whole lot of different kind of industries in that position. And in the course of that work, I worked with a lot of radio stations. And so after a couple of years of being at the mall, I got recruited into sales within a radio organization. And it was the top country station in Sacramento at the time. And I moved from being a salesperson into sales management and then ended up managing stations for CBS. I had the top 2 female stations in Sacramento.
Wow.
For 6 years. And it was during that time that I had this little baby advertiser on my radio stations that was just spending gobs of money. I remember going to my sales manager and saying, man, these are young guys that have just started this company. Are they going to pay their bills? I really kind of need to meet this guy, Hayes Barnard, who was running this mortgage company.
Yeah.
And so Hayes and I went to lunch one day, and 3 hours later, he had talked me into quitting my 15-year radio career to go start companies with him. And, people in the industry at the time in broadcast thought I just lost my mind. You're leaving this job to go to a startup? What are you thinking?
Right.
And wow, was that a special transition in my life. And people have asked, why? Why did you jump ship out of that career to go saddle up with this young entrepreneur? And there was just, from the very beginning, Hayes and I had a connection around the purpose of business. And it started at the end of that lunch. Hayes asked me a fateful question. He said, by the end of your career, what will you have to have accomplished in order to feel like you spent your time wisely? And Chad, I grew up in a family where I was just taught that service was really important, and that we're given gifts for a reason, and that those unique gifts are to serve our fellow human beings. And so, that sounds super cheesy and all, but in all the jobs I had along the way, I found a way to bring philanthropy into what I was doing. And so when Hayes asked that question, I said, I don't know where it comes from, but I've always had this desire to work in education in Africa. I have no idea how that will ever happen, but since I was a little kid, that's the thing I've wanted to do. Wow. And so someday, I hope that I'll have the opportunity to do that. Well, we had a mortgage company with 40 people. We started an insurance company and a will and trust company and a reverse mortgage company, and then eventually a solar company. And the story just continues to evolve and be crazy from there. And here I am today in this dream come true opportunity to serve people around the world with solar power. So it's just been an unbelievable and wonderful journey to just allow life to unfold and for dreams to come true. And so it's something that I tell people all the time. If you have a dream, share it with the people around you, because I am proof that in that moment, there may be no pathway to that happening. But if you don't share it, then that opportunity doesn't have the chance to find its way to you.
That is wild. So, and I've never met Hayes. I've met everyone else who, works with him and knows him. And, from what I hear about him, he seems like the type of guy that could sit down with somebody at lunch and within a short period of time convince them to change their entire life course and go all in on. And so that is amazing. So you did that, and you guys did the mortgage, which spread out into a bunch of other businesses, including solar. You guys spent some time at Solar City.
We did.
Right. And then a couple years later, you guys, Good Leap happened.
Yes.
Right. And I remember, I was still a solar sales manager back when Good Leap first started. And back then it was called Lone Pal, right? But you did marketing for Good Leap. Did you not?
Yeah. So the original mortgage company was called Paramount Equity Mortgage.
Okay.
And I was the chief marketing officer. I was the chief operating officer for a period of time of the company and so on. And I sort of skipped this a little bit. I'll take one quick step back. That connection with Hayes, I asked him the same question. What was it that was important to him in his companies?
Yeah.
And at the time, it wasn't that he was passionate about mortgage. It was that he was passionate about saving hardworking families money on their everyday bills. And so we started that mortgage company because the mortgage is the biggest expense in any household. Yeah. And so if you could save people money in that area, it could be meaningful to them.
Right.
Then we saved people money on their insurance. And then we started the solar company to save them money on their electric bill. And so that was the common thread across all of those companies. So as Paramount Equity Mortgage started to create more financing products for these other categories of things, we eventually found our way into what became Good Leap.
Got it.
And building the opportunity to help finance other world positive, sustainable improvements on the home.
All right. So fast forward, how did you get to the place where you are running GivePower?
Yeah. So Hayes and I, as part of the acquisition of the solar company, moved to San Francisco and went to work for Solar City. And we took this idea of giving back with us when we joined the company. And one of the very first things we did was to take Lyndon Rive, the CEO of Solar City, with us to Nicaragua to power a school with solar energy. And so we were on this track.
Hold on. Where did you get that idea? Like, had that been done before? Was it just you guys are like brainstorming? Like,
Yeah.
How did you know about this?
So it's a funny connection. That little lunch conversation that we had in 2008, Hayes and I used to set our New Year's resolutions together. And we were sitting down in his office in 2008 in the middle of the mortgage meltdown. Like we were having a near-death experience in the company. It was a hard time to be in the mortgage space. And out of the blue, he said to me, let's go build a school in Africa. And mind you, we hadn't talked about that conversation from lunch in 3 years.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, he pops out with this. And I said, well, Hayes, we don't have any money. Like, how are we going to go build a school in Africa? He said, no, you and I, we're just going to go ask our friends. We're going to ask our family to make donations. And we're going to go build a school in Africa this year. I think our leadership team needs a more grateful perspective. And so we did it. We raised the money, and the next November, we took our executive team with us to Mali, and we built our first school in Mali, Africa. And as while we were kind of sitting in the dirt in this very dark village, we just started that solar company, and we started talking about how cool it would be if the solar company got successful enough that we could come back to that little village of Zarabugu and bring electricity to the school. Well, flash forward, we sell that solar company to Solar City in 2013, and we went to Lyndon and said, hey, we've got this idea. Let's power schools around the world. And so we took him to Nicaragua on that initial trek to help him experience what it is like to be in these dark villages and what it means to people when you can bring electricity to them. And Lyndon, being the incredible guy that he is, upon leaving that village, made a promise that for every megawatt of business that Solar City installed here in the United States, he would pay for a school to be powered somewhere in the world. So between 2013 and 2016, we powered over 1,500 schools just with Solar City's support.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was an amazing commitment. And it became part of the culture of the company. It was that extra reason, Chad, that I think Freedom Forever is learning about, that people come to work. It's more than just a paycheck. It's knowing that your hard work is helping people make the energy transition here in the U.S., but it's also helping people around the world who have no energy at all. And that matters, we found, at Solar City within our work there. So in 2016, when we sold Solar City to Tesla, I thought I was ready for retirement. And I moved to the beach. I sat on boards. I was consulting small businesses, a lot of solar companies, Canada, here in the United States, and so on. And in 2019, Hayes called me and said, hey, we've started this foundation called GivePower. I need to find a president. Could you just pull up a chair for 6 months while I go find somebody? And here I am 6 years later, still doing the job, and I could not love it more. I've been very, very lucky to have fantastic positions throughout my career, and Chad, bar none, this is my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it feels, and I didn't see you in any of your previous roles, but it feels incredibly fitting, especially given the fact that you had been wanting to help people in Africa and third world countries since you were a kid. So it's like you're living your dream.
Life's wild, right?
Wild. I mean, but like, so I got to ask you, were you actually thinking you would only do that for 6 months, that you were just going to kind of fill that space until he found somebody else?
I was retired. I thought I was just taking on passion projects from here or there that interested me. And this is, full time and then some in this role now. And I'm just so grateful for every day that I get to serve in this way.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about GivePower, because it seems like the concept started way back then.
Yes.
But GivePower as, a nonprofit has existed since 2019. And did it start with that concept of, we're going to power schools? because you guys do a lot more than that now.
Yeah. So actually, GivePower got its name while we were at Solar City.
Okay.
So in 2013, the GivePower kind of philosophy of powering areas of the developing world was born. We focused on schools up until about 2018. And at that time, we started building bigger solar projects. And so powering conservation parks and medical clinics and hospitals. When the Puerto Rico disaster occurred, we were one of the first organizations on the ground bringing electricity to the fire stations that had been damaged. And so there was kind of just this natural evolution to building bigger solar interventions. Those schools are still very important to us. I think we've powered close to 2,700 of them at this point. But Chad, as we were out kind of doing all of this electrification work, we kept running into the problem around clean water.
Yes.
And as amazing as it is, and it really is, to bring light to a little girl in her school, if she doesn't have clean water to drink, she's not at school.
Right.
And so in 2017, Hayes had actually hired a team of engineers who started working on a solution for drinking water and creating that in the developing world. And so today, with our solar water farm technology, we're actually able to purify ocean water or salty water out of the ground to create clean drinking water for people throughout the developing world. So today, about half of our resources are put into electrification projects, and about half of our resources are put into creating clean drinking water.
And so these water desalination plants, they're essentially taking the salt and purifying the water. And is it completely powered by solar panels, or is it still connected to like the grid?
Nope, solar and battery.
I mean, that's what to me is so cool about it, right? It's like you're providing water. And when I first heard about it, I'm like, well, I'm not in the water business,
Right.
But the fact that it's got this solar and renewable component, but it's providing, like you said, something that's probably even much more of a necessity than even light is so cool. And, we haven't done our water unit yet, but that's on the schedule, and I cannot wait to get the Freedom Forever water making plant out there. So I'm very excited about that. I have gone on a trek. I did that in January of this year. It's 2025. I'm planning on going on another one in early 2026. That was and I've done charity trips and tried to do service things before. That was by far the best and most well-run experience I've ever been a part of. And a lot of it, like, yes, you guys have planned it to this perfect schedule and structure, and it's just, you've nailed every bit of the whole thing. But what I just keep finding to be so mind-blowing is the people that you guys have gotten to become part of this. Like, the people are unbelievable. Every single one. And it was almost a year ago right now, we did an episode with Aparna.
Yep.
Right? And she was sitting here on the couch, and we're talking about, and I hadn't gone yet, and she's telling me like, hey, I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but you're going to fall in love with the people you meet and the experience. And she could not have been more right.
Yeah.
But where are you guys finding all these people, and how are you getting them to, come and be a part of this?
Something interesting happened, I think, with COVID, and people took a step back and they started thinking maybe a little harder about the way they spent their time and shared their talents in the world. And we are so fortunate, Chad. We post a job and literally we're shutting it down in 24 hours because we have hundreds of applicants.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm so thrilled that human beings are now making the choice to serve others as a career more than ever. I get asked
That's amazing.
Frequently, nonprofits can't pay as well as other organizations might be able to, and that's true. But what we can offer is real fulfillment in what people do every day. And so we like to refer to people around the world that have now joined the team as, angels in need of wings. They're everywhere. They're in every corner of the earth. People who are ambitious and they're hardworking and they want to serve their communities, and they just need that opportunity to be able to contribute. That's one of my most favorite parts of the job, is to be able to watch people come in. They can't turn on a computer, and a year later they're giving PowerPoint presentations in rural Africa. I mean, it's amazing.
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, and like, I've spent time trying to serve other people, and it's so fulfilling. But like, you can see that these people, they're putting people over whatever other career opportunities they have. And my thing is, and like, I've only done it once. I went to Kenya. It was one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. But it was because, yes, the people at the school, we lit the school, but it was also because of all the GivePower people. It's Jonte, it's G, it's Ava. Carly, Brian, David. Like, these people are incredible.
They are incredible.
Like, some of the best human beings I've ever met. And we still text, like,
And I promise you, Chad, if you joined us in the Philippines or you joined us in Colombia, you met Juanfe and Tomas, and you'd be feeling that same closeness with them. They're just, I think when you spend every day of your life serving others, it just elevates your vibe.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter where you choose to go with us on trek around the world, you're going to have that same experience.
I love that you guys chose to do that first, we'll call it a trek, during the lowest dip of the real estate cycle.
Says volumes.
Has happened in my lifetime, right? And it's so true, like, because right now, solar has had a rough year.
Yeah.
Right? Like 2025 will go down. Hopefully it goes down. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse than 2025. But like, we've just been, the solar coaster, we're at the bottom of that valley, or have been at least, and it feels like we're finally starting to get back up on the upswing.
Yeah.
But now would be the equivalent of that 2008 time to and I love that, philosophically you guys are saying, like, we have more to be grateful for, we just don't realize it. So let's go and serve other people, and to make that conscious decision of doing it in a very difficult time period, or like you said, when didn't have even the money to do it. I don't know. It feels like everyone in the solar industry could use a little bit of that right now. Like if you have never been on a GivePower trek, or if you're not partnered with GivePower and you don't sell with Freedom, I don't care if you're one of our competitors or whatever, like, you've got to find a way to partner with them and take your people on one of these treks. There is no better way for you to get through this current adversity we're experiencing than to do exactly what you guys did, 17 years ago.
Amen, man. I so well said, Chad. I'll tell you a little secret. GivePower, we use the big G and the big P in our name. It's actually for grateful perspective. It goes back to that trek 17 years ago, and what we learned in taking our leadership team in that most difficult of moments to serve others. People have asked me for many, many years, 97% of the mortgage companies that were our kind of shape and size went out of business. And we didn't just survive, we thrived. And GoodLeap now exists as that same company.
Yeah.
And they ask why. How did we survive when so many others didn't? And I just really got to give it up to Hayes for having the vision and the courage to say, nope, we're going to dig deeper. And in this moment of adversity, we're going to find a way to give instead of, worry about our personal incomes and all that sort of stuff. I think it really made a difference in the culture of our organization. We locked arms and we refused to fail. We were going to just figure out a way. And so I have so much compassion for what's happening in the solar industry today. I will also say there is a fantastic opportunity for the industry to get better.
Yeah.
Adversity makes you stronger. It makes you more resourceful. It makes you work on a shoestring better than maybe you did before. And when the good times come, you'll be wiser for it. So I'm excited to see what happens with the solar industry. For heaven's sakes, the world's going to need more electrons with what's happening in AI and so on. This is the time for solar to thrive, to really grow. I'm excited for that.
100%. I mean, I'm already seeing like we are so much better off as a company. There's another podcast next week that's coming out I did with our CTO and our software development leadership that's talking about all of the automations and improvements we've made as a business. Those, we were forced to make those to try to become more efficient as a company.
That's right.
It forced us to look at this a different way.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the landscape that solar is in 2025. And the other thing is, we're at the worst solar will ever be from a political standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Like it couldn't be worse than it is right now in terms of the people who actually want solar to succeed. And so I know that there is this very, very bright light at the end of this tunnel. But it has absolutely forced us to be better. And I'm very, very grateful for this, for 2025, for what we've been through and what we've had to do to adapt. But it is just so counterintuitive for a human to experience adversity, and you have to force yourself. Like, that's not an innate behavior for us to look outward when you're going through adversity. You immediately want to look inward, and how do I protect what's mine? And, how do I point the finger and the blame on everybody else? And you guys made this like very counterintuitive decision consciously to say, we are going to look outward and we're going to give when we don't have much to give. Like that is very, very unique and inspiring, but it's that sort of thing that I think makes what you guys are doing so special.
Thank you, Chad. You're too kind. I'm a grandma. I just found out I'm going to get my third grandchild last week. I think about Oprah's book, These Things I Know, that little tiny book, but it's just so full of wisdom. And I will say that at this age, at 58, there are some things that I just know to be true. And one of them is that the absolute antidote to unhappiness is gratitude.
Yeah.
And there is no way to experience gratitude more than spending time with people who have so little and are still so joyful.
Yeah.
There's just no better opportunity. And so, treks give people the opportunity to hit the reset button, to take all their worries and their woes and for 1 week to lay in the dirt and experience a different way of life and maybe come home with that sense of gratitude and therefore a different level of happiness in their lives. It's part of GivePower's DNA, and I'm so glad you're going to get to take another group in February. I look forward to working with you to take a whole lot of people on treks moving forward.
No, I mean, I wish we could do a trek every week, and but there's a song in my church that they sing. It's like when life gets hard and when things are really bleak, they tell you to count your blessings.
Count your many blessings one by one.
You name them one by one, right? And so it's like you just start listing all the things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
And it does really start to put things in perspective. And it's like you have so much to be grateful for. And the irony is, and I've learned this in my 1 week that I have spent in Kenya, is it doesn't give you perspective because you're now all of a sudden able to see that these people have nothing and you have so much to be grateful for. The reality is, the truth is, they have everything.
Amen.
They don't need what we have to give them.
That's right.
Right? Like, they have the things that matter. They have community. Like, they share everything with each other, probably the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And they have this amazing social, it's like, I don't know, like we live in our houses and, we have the climate control and people don't go outside. People don't talk to each other. You see your neighbor when you grab the mail.
Right.
But like these people live amongst each other and just socialize. They're some of the most socially, like, they're savants. They're just so capable and better communicators than we could ever wish to be, because this is all they do all day, and they live like this, you know, and their food is amazing. I had no idea. Like, I was wrong about
Choma's
everything.
the bomb,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes. Like, and we ate goat.
Yep.
And I've had goat, but I didn't like it. And then I ate goat there, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten, you know? And just their way of life, and they have this tremendous faith, and you know, they have the things that matter.
Yes.
And so I just want to clarify, like, to me at least, the perspective wasn't, oh, you know, I have so much and they have so little, therefore I should be grateful. That's not what I learned.
Spot on.
What I learned is they have everything that matters and that they need, and I need to be more like them.
Yes.
And they are so happy.
Yes.
So happy. And we're over here, we've got the easiest life in the world, and we're not happy.
We want more.
We want more.
We want more. When the most valuable stuff is just right there in our hands. Yeah. It's interesting. You know, I've had the fantastic opportunity to travel the world. I think I'm in 70 countries at this point. And there are just some things I've learned. The poorest people are the most generous people.
Yeah.
I'll never forget in Mali on that first trek, all they had was millet to eat. And they ground it up every morning, and it made this kind of grayish jelly thing. And the little kids would get their palm full every day. And that was the diet. That's all they had. And they would run up to me with their palms open and want to share their palm full of millet with me every day. It's just you can't unsee those things. You can't unexperience those things. I wish every American had the opportunity to go abroad and just walk a different walk. Just have the chance to experience that.
100%. So at Freedom, we are trying to really lean into this partnership. You know, you guys have changed my outlook. You know, Kylie Powell, our president of sales, and Rob Angel, VP of sales ops, Brian Malott, he's been on a couple of them. Boundless, as you know, has been doing this for years. I wish we were earlier to the party. That's on me. I feel
man, all good.
like I've just missed so many opportunities, but here we are, gonna try and make up for lost time. And you know, what's exciting for me is this next track. I'm gonna be bringing like all of our top sales leader owners, the owners of our top sales dealers. And, you know, we're going to go together, and, you know, my hope is through this experience, obviously that they learn and experience and feel all the same things that I felt. Yeah. But that also we become one as a group of sales leaders. And, you know, I've thought a lot about how, because I'm trying to unite a lot of these alpha sales leaders, like really, really the most talented sales group there is, in my opinion. But they're used to kind of being in charge.
Sure.
Each one of them, and they kind of do things their way. And you know, I've been thinking like, man, I've been racking my brain. How do I get all of these guys to unite?
Yeah.
On one common goal and like see each other as brothers rather than competitors.
Yeah.
And it's just so overwhelmingly obvious to me that I need to get them to experience this. I need to get them on a trek. And there's other ways, I'm sure, but that is the best way to do it. So I'm so excited, but I'm just so grateful that you guys have built this thing. You know, and I'm the type of guy, I think part of our reluctance was like Freedom, we're a little arrogant is probably the right word, where, you know, we build our own software. We built our own solar panel, like our own module. We can do it all. You know, we want to do everything, and we want it to be ours because we can do it better than anybody else. But you guys have done this so well and you've just nailed it. There's no way we could even come close to the quality and what you guys have built. And nor should we. Like, we want to just lean into what you guys have and see where we can take this thing. Cause it really is, it is special. It's unique. It is, like I said, I've been on a lot of service trips. I've spent 2 years of my life serving people, and other things. There is nothing like this.
So, Chad, purpose bonds people when you can find a common purpose. And it's been one of the most inspiring parts of the job for me. I spent 35 years in the corporate world. I know what it is to compete, like to get scrappy. And,
right.
I totally understand that dynamic. GivePower has had the opportunity to see people who are duking it out at the kitchen table
right.
against each other, lock arms for the betterment of people who need our help. And to set that aside for this common purpose and this mission in bringing clean solar energy to the rest of the world who so terribly needs it. And man, that's inspiring. I mean, it's just, there's a time and a place for all things. And to see this industry here in the United States being willing to share their knowledge around sustainable energy with the rest of the world has been such a delight in the job for me.
Yeah, and you guys have been crushing it lately. I mean, you've back to your marketing background, like you guys did some stuff with Mr. Beast.
We did.
Right? So like maybe give me a little bit of as we wrap this up, like what are some of the things that recently you guys have done that excite you, and what's on the horizon for GivePower?
Yeah. So the partnership with Mr. Beast has been amazing. We've completed 10 projects, electrification projects, with Jimmy and the team at Beast Philanthropy. As you're alluding to, Chad, we had the opportunity to really exhibit radical collaboration in the Team Water campaign that ran during the month of August. There are a lot of nonprofits, and I'll be honest, when I first entered the industry, I was really surprised at how competitive the nonprofits are with each other, which just seems so silly to me. We're all trying to solve, for example, the water problem around the world. World Vision, WaterAid, Water.org, Charity Water, GivePower.
They want to change the world faster than you want to change the world or something. I don't know.
And so I've had the great opportunity to build relationships with all of those other nonprofits, and we're collaborating now on World Vision, and GivePower just finished powering 3 whole communities in Zambia together. So building those bridges, and Team Water, the campaign that Jimmy ran in August, ended up raising $40 million in 30 days to bring clean water to people who need it. And we did that in partnership with WaterAid. And so not only do I suggest that solar companies can lock arms and do great things for electrification around the world, but we're kind of trying to set an example in our own way in collaborating with other nonprofits to do bigger, better things together.
For sure.
So I'm excited about that. And we have some really cool things in the work that will enable us as the nonprofit industry to be able to be more effective in sharing more of our knowledge, in being more strategic about the geographies that we're serving and who's bringing what intervention at what time. There's some really great collaborations there. Likewise, the thing that I'm very excited about is working with governments more closely. There are a lot of people out there trying to bring electrification and water through government into countries, and the bureaucracy and, quite frankly, the corruption can be challenging to navigate. And so I'll be in Kenya and Tanzania in January working with the Ministry of Water, Ministries of ASAO, Ministries of Education to try to cut through some of that and make sure that resources get to the people who need it most.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds frustrating that's an obstacle for you guys, a roadblock, but I understand. I mean, you guys are doing something that I don't think has really been done before. You're forging new paths, which I think, for freedom, we're experiencing obstacles like you guys are. And so, when you forge a new path and try to do something that's never been done before, you're going to, people are going to be a little bit resistant. But it's great that they have a leader like you and Aparna at the helm, just running things and, sharing your wisdom and insight and experience. So yeah, I mean, just so excited about where you guys are heading and what's in store for GivePower.
I just can't let this opportunity go without thanking you, Chad, and Brett, and Kylie, and the whole leadership team for introducing all of the reps that work with you to GivePower's mission. And I can't let this moment go without thanking all of those reps who have hit the button to say, yes, I will support the mission in a contribution. So just, oh man, thank you for walking the walk. We can't do what we do without the support of donors. That's our lifeblood. So just thank you for all of your help.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. And really, yes, you're right. You nailed it. All we did was just create a way for sales reps to make a contribution every time they make a sale. They're the ones who are saying, you know what? I will give up some of my commission and forego money so that, somebody else can have access to clean water or power. So yeah, it's been amazing to see the response, to see the generosity. We have the best sales teams and sales reps and leaders in the industry. Obviously I'm biased, but for those who are outside of our network, like I don't care if you are biggest competitor, if you hate me or freedom or whatever, it does not matter. Like you said, like we can link arms and understand as human beings that this is a cause that is worth getting involved in and supporting. So reach out to GivePower, create a partnership with them. They are the best and most easiest people to work with. So do it. Like don't delay, don't wait, do it now. It's the holiday season. There's no better cause for you and your teams will thank you for it. So with that, Michele, how can they get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to www.givepower.org. And all of the information is there on how to become a Give partner if you're a company and you would like to align your efforts with us. If you're an individual that would like to get involved, there's information there as well around treks and how you can make contributions to our work. So yeah, website's probably the easiest place to go. We're also very active in social media, so check out our Instagram. We have a very full YouTube channel with lots of videos of projects and things to help you get more educated about our work.
GivePower.org. Sign up right now. You will not regret it. She is Michele Magee. She runs the organization. She is absolutely crushing it for good reason. And there is no better cause that you could get involved in. So thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us, Michele.
Thank you, Chad, so much.
All right, we will see you guys on the next episode.